What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we are returning to Operation Stardust and Mobile Suit Gundam Rebellion 0083. Last time, Ko and the Burning Team chased after Gato and the GPO-2. Alice Miller, originally seen in 8th MS Team Miller's report, comes to investigate Ko and Gundam Jack. The Albion eventually left Torrington Base. In this episode, we will see G-Armor in action once again. This was last used by Slegger and Sayla, but now will be passed on to the next generation of Gundams. The Dreiser fleet and Gato will also engage with the EFF as they make their way to Africa. So let's get into this. Gato, Dreiser, and the Jukon sub meet up with the Kraken team. This consists of the Grublo, the Zagak-E, and a Hygog. The Hygog and Zagak-E were first seen in War in the Pocket, and the Grublo was that coffin that poor sucker Flanagan Boone died in. Poor Boone. The 203rd Indian Ocean Front Kraken team is commanded by Ensign Gary Lodge. He has an eye patch with the Zeon insignia. An ensign as a commander shows that their forces have dwindled since the end of the 1-year war. They are heading through the Indian Ocean and heading to Africa, which is quite the journey. The Jukon has a 20-minute window to resupply the Kraken team before EFF is able to pick them up on radar. As they start the resupply, they notice that one of the pilots of the Kraken team is a minor. It is Ensign Lodge's sister, Claire Lodge. She was a part of a student-soldier program at the end of the war and stayed on Earth to find her brother. The two are from Mahal, so they no longer have a home to go to. They finish the resupply and dive once again. Claire seems to be bloodthirsty for EFF. Meanwhile, Ko is in the core fighter, dropping sonar buoys to drive out the Zeon sub. The FFX-2 Core Fighter 2 has improved aerodynamics over the original core fighter. The core fighter uses the GPO-1's beam sabers as ranged beam weapons. Also, the thrusters on the core fighter are used when attached to the GPO-1 instead of being dead weight. He goes to land on the Albion using the radar-guided beacon, but Dick Allen, living up to his name, turns it off to mess with Ko. This causes him to crash land. Mora yells at Ko, and Allen comes to talk shit. He is trying to make Ko look bad as he is jealous that he is the Gundam pilot. Alice Miller brought from Jaburo the G-Armor 2 to help hunt the GPO-2. The G-Armor 2 is the evolution of the original G-Armor and is a two-seat bomber that works in conjunction with GPO-1. Like the original, it connects the A parts and B parts of the Gundam without the need of a core fighter, but it can also use the core fighter if needed, and is usually stored in the Gundam anyways. The docking and undocking sequence has been greatly refined and can be done faster than the original, though how much faster is unclear. It is equipped with the beam cannon, a BOA XBR M8205H beam rifle, and 2 shields. We will also see this unit shortly use an experimental rifle. Dick Allen is piloting with Keith co-piloting. He is excited to prove himself. Tanya suggests that Ko read the G-Parts manual and learn how to fly the G-Armor as well. He is confused, but Tanya wonders if she should order him to learn. Ko is aroused and activated a new turn-on. Nina is jelly and tries to get Ko's attention by making him do a systems check on the Gundam. Mora watches the whole thing go down and makes his face. Samesies Mora. While the G-Armor 2 is dropping buoys, Ko asks why Dick Allen and Ko have such animosity towards one another. He says that Keith is a good kid. Before he tells him, they finally get something on the radar from the buoys. That is when the Hygog jumps out of the water. Dick fires the beam rifle. Fighters struggle to turn around as easy as a mobile suit, so the Hygog fires and hits the G-Armor. As they make their return to the Albion, Tanya suggests that Ko heads out in the Gundam with the G-Armor. Ko is read up on the Aqua equipment and is certain he can handle the situation. Let's talk about the GPO-1 Aqua equipment that is specific to the manga. This outfits the unit for underwater combat. It retrofits the Aqua Gem's shoulder jets, which adds a 2-tube missile pod per shoulder. It also has a hydrojet backpack, and its rifle seems to have some sort of underwater enclosure. It also fires torpedo rounds. Nina doesn't like that her Gundam is using the G-Armor. The G-Parts, Core Fighter, and Core Booster are created by the Hervik Company. That is until Anaheim Electronics bought them out in UC 0082, and they now go by AE Hervik. This is a part of Anaheim Electronics that Nina knows absolutely nothing about, but Tanya is well informed. A squad of Aqua Gems attack Clara in the Grublo, but she is able to get the upper hand. We broke down the Aqua Gems in our Blue Destiny coverage. Go check that out. Alan and Keith pilot the G-Armor once again. They are to drop off Ko and run support. Burning emphasizes to Ko that he has to fire his torpedoes and retreat. That is it. Ko wants to engage with Gato and the Gundam directly, but he obeys his orders. They modify the G-Armor before launching. Besides fixing the damage, they swapped out the beam rifle with a prototype rifle used by GP01, or at least was supposed to be used. This is the Blash XBR L83D beam rifle. For reasons, it can't be used on GP01, so it's being tested on the G parts. Remember, the BOA and BOA XBR is a company called BOA Inc. They manufactured EFF's early beam rifles. This one is made by Blash. This is the first time I'm hearing of Blash, but just like real-life defense contractors, I'm sure there are hundreds we don't know about. The G-Armor launches. This Blash beam rifle seems to be way too unstable to be using in a real-world situation. Burning and Synapse realizes they are being punished for losing GPO2. They head into battle to find that an EFF Himalayan-class ship is engaged with the enemy. The Himalaya-class is an aircraft carrier that is based off of the real-life Hyuga-class carrier. It is equipped with a 2-barrel main gun turret, a single-barrel secondary turret, missile launchers, and anti-aircraft turrets. This version is carrying a lot of fisheyes, and were most likely the ones carrying the down gems from earlier. The Zagak E begins tearing through one of the carriers. The G-Armor fires at the Zeon remnants, and the Kraken team retreats. This blast rifle is a beast and almost takes out its own fleet in the process. It makes Dick Allen overconfident, and he waits to drop Ko in the Gundam. But Clara does her own thing and calls her brother a disgrace. She heads off as the other 2 Kraken members chase off EFF. Dick Allen finally drops GPO1, after which they spot a civilian ship getting caught up in the fight. The Jukon is being hit by all of the fisheyes. Gato is on standby in GPO2. He wants to launch, but Dreiser is going to hold his promise of getting them to Africa. Ko drops down in the water and spots the Jukon. He was hoping for Gato, but he has no choice but to fire his torpedoes on the U-boat. Dreiser and the Jukon have been destroyed along with the Gundam. Ko is upset that Gato forced him to destroy GPO2. The team heads to the Albion Bridge, and they talk to General Cohen regarding the situation. They don't have confirmation that GPO2 is destroyed and have to wait for the recovery team's report. Ko interrupts and tells Cohen that he is certain that Gato and GPO2 are still out there. The crew is given some shore leave while the recovery team does their thing. Alice wants to question all of the Anaheim Electronic employees regarding the Gundam Jack. In the manga, Nina does have a bigger team working with her on the Albion. Nina realizes that Alice and EFF believe that there may be a mole in their ranks. Of course, we know that this is Nick Orville's doing. Alice gets a call from one of her spies. Remember the civilian ship that got caught up in the battle? It appears to be a camouflaged Zeon freighter that was found in Mogadishu. They have been unloading their cargo over the past 2 days. On top of that, this cargo freighter is retrofitted with a hatch and maintenance dock for repairing something. Alice believes that Gato has made it to Africa. Claire is waiting on what I assume is a beach near Mogadishu when her brother and the Kraken team meet up with her. They were trying to lose EFF while Claire completed her mission. Let's rewind back to the fight. During Dreiser's back and forth with Gato, we are led to believe that he was on the Jukon sub. He was actually stored underneath the Grublo, where Claire transported the GPO2 to the civilian ship, hence the retrofitted dock at the bottom of the cargo freighter. The Kraken team plans on supporting Operation Stardust till the very end. After Ko and Keith eat, they head back to the ship, where Ko runs into Nina, and the two do their flirt fighting. Keith and Moira knows what's going on, but that is when Tanya butts in. Keith tries to ask Tanya out, but she suggests he get better pickup lines for a superior officer. Keith is sad that he has lost 2 women to Ko now. Moira literally keeps his head held high. Nick Orville contacts someone. They're onto him and he wants out. He says he knows the location of Wallfish, which is Gato's call sign. Alice Miller's men are watching and decide to move on him. As he hangs up the phone, they pounce. They throw him in a room where Alice is waiting to interrogate him. She wants to know where Gato is. He wants a lawyer since he is a civilian, but he is on the Albion, so the military is handling this crime. She puts a glove on to show she is serious. Yeah, shove your fist up his ass! Somewhere in Africa, Gato is taken in by a group of Zeon remnants that we will soon learn are the Kimberlite forces led by Commander Nguyen Bitter. Annabelle Gato riles up the Zeon remnants, knowing they've been waiting for a battle since the 1-year war. They happen to have an HLV which Gato plans on using to get back into space. And that will do it for this episode. I take the fake out of GPO2's destruction. It would have certainly added more suspense during the cat and mouse game in the anime. However, I imagine most of you are reading this after watching the OVA, so any suspension of GPO2 actually being destroyed is non-existent. Next time, Bernard Moncha, Alpha, and Chap will join the Albion crew. They were a part of the Immortal 4th team during the 1-year war alongside Lieutenant Burning. Also, Alice informs the crew that their chase for GPO2 and Gato isn't over. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember to not be as jealous as Dick Allen. Peace.